Hello guys, welcome back to lecture 1, part 1. After we mentioned what are the key objectives of this course and what is the timetable out there, now I'm going to take you through why we need fintech and mobile banking in the first place. So I will talk to you about the new future trends of the so-called information technology and how this would transform or expected to transform financial services. Now, when we start about these tales telling you, normal social experiences, you will see how technology is quite important. So these tales about football. In Manchester, Man United used to be, the league, the key top flag of Manchester City. And we had a sort of competition who should come and lead Man United team. And this was almost five years ago. And there were thoughts about Moyes and Mourinho, who should lead the team. And unfortunately, we recruited Moyes. And when Moyes came, we lost the league table, the Champions League. We've been always behind. While Mourinho been leading Chelsea, and he really progressed too far than usual. He made a special plan using information technology. He been trying to develop a counter-attack strategy based on his own understanding of how players used to play, how they think, their lifestyles. He read lots of newspapers about every individual team player to develop such a thing. And then he turned Chelsea, and this is Terry. Terry was the leader of this team, and he turned him from a loser, losing a penalty, to be a hat-trick. So we can tell how even Germany been beating Brazil in the semi-final, not last football club, but the one before, and this was mainly based on 4 years of data collection from newspapers by a young team of undergraduate students who've been building a psychological plan to break the Brazilian team down in 10 minutes. And you could see how many goals being scored in a few minutes. So information technology is quite important to our lives these days. And this is the way to achieve winning and good reputation and be forward. So I'm going to take you through mainly 4 future trends. And I'm going to recall 2 famous scholars and worldwide, philosophers. First one is Manuel Castells. He's a direct descendant of Karl Marx, and he assumes that technology mediates the relationship between society and the economy. So if you want to manage both society and the economy, you play with technological applications and you manage technology differently. Albert Al Gore, he's a vice president of President Bill Clinton. He's a Nobel Prize winner as well, a shared Nobel Prize winner. He's a sustainability activist, so he's quite famous guy as well. And he written an interesting book to read called Six Drivers of the Future. And he talks about some of these trends that I'm going to cover now. So let's say again, the first one is global mind and the multi-stakeholderism, where people will develop a sort of globalized way of thinking. They think the same wherever they are. Nothing could be hidden. Robo-sourcing, how we can delegate our tasks, our human tasks, to machinery and to people somewhere else who use their own manpower and machine to do things. Infrastructure, new applications of technological artifacts. And power imbalance, how we recall the bottom-up grassroots innovation. How can the base of the pyramid people, low-income people, can contribute to the economy, and the non-governmental institutions, how they can become key players, not just governmentally based economy. So, multi-stakeholderism. Now, I want you to think of Industry 4.0 and digital manufacturing. Now, once we had Web 1, Web 2, Web 3, all of these advanced web applications, we became in big nodes, and this is Manuel Castells' idea. So he said we have a space of flow we all get into big nodes like London, New York, Washington, D.C., Paris. There are specific cities with a huge amount of social capital and intellectual capacity that people share through the internet. And once they share information, they become capable of developing business ideas, and they can exchange information about demand and supply and do business. And he called it informational capitalism. So in these days, whoever owns much more information, he or she will be capable of doing much more profitable, easy business. So they become intermediaries and they bridge between supply and the demand. Lots of other ideas about how people can get into a global mind. DNA profiling, think of how the German government is trying to get the genes of young kids to develop an ideal soldier. Think of how cryptocurrency and the blockchain. Blockchain is fantastic distributed ledger technology where you can do strategic plans instead of 5 years. It could be done in maybe 1 year, it could be done in 6 months. So things can become more advanced and a bit easier, and the flow would be smooth. So we take it from there, from Manuel Castells, and then we move to Albert Al Gore's idea about robo-sourcing. And his argument is countries like England, we are no longer manufacturing countries, I'm afraid. And then we started to delegate our service operation to countries like India, Malaysia, Egypt, Israel. I mean, think of calling the second line technical team of Vodafone, if you have a Vodafone line, 3G operators. They work somewhere in Egypt, somewhere in India, and once you call them, they host all of your data, they have your account, they can manage your service in England without any control from your side. Now, this means delegating what we could do here in England to somebody else out there in another country, which is mainly giving them better jobs, more opportunities, giving them information. So the informational capitalism will be there, located in these countries, not in England, our own country, which is a big risk. And now, this is good for logistics and supply chain, it makes things smooth, think of Alibaba, but on the other side, delegating these tasks to other people is a bit risky. So, global minding, robo-sourcing. The third one is new infrastructure. Now think of the 3D printing. This is a clear example of how young kids can even print weapons. How you can go to the dentist and he can put a scanner in your mouth and he can scan your teeth and then print 3D version of your teeth, make it with sustainable material, and then you can fix a teeth in maybe a few minutes instead of waiting for months or weeks or days. So things would go smooth. Recent applications I've been personally involved in is fitness. So ladies can go to the gym and there is a 3D scanner that shows where the fats are more accumulated in their bodies, and then gives them a sort of exercise for a month. They come back to the fitness center, they scan their body again, and we can guide them where they lost fats and where they need in their body, where they need to exercise more to be fitter and slimmer and in a good shape. So these are examples of 3D and other even 4D and 7D applications. Virtual reality is one of these interesting examples. Now think of a bank which is virtual. So maybe you can have a mobile app and then you can see the banker, you can talk to him, you can talk to her, they can appear in front of you talking, walking, and this could be a quick conversation without you moving to the bank branch. Same applies this 3D. If you apply for a mortgage, you can see the house you are applying for in a 3D model. Robo-sourcing, when you apply to financial services, how this would help, insurance companies to delegate and outsource their contracts to different American, Indian, other insurance companies and banks. So all these trends would apply heavily in financial services and would transform what we do in financial services. This is the first one. So global minding, robo-sourcing, new infrastructure and power imbalance. So think of these financial services, if we delegate users to give us much more innovation. If you read about Muhammad Yunus, he's a Nobel Prize winner. He's a Bengali American scholar. He got his PhD in economics, and he been back to Bangladesh trying to ask poor women after tsunami disaster. He asked them, what do you really want? And he discovered that charity approach is merely one pound with one soul. So you give them the money and that's it. And they will be always desperate to get money to afford their living, their kids' tuition and vice and blah, blah, blah. However, he saw that buying raw material, buying airtime, buying something with the original price, and then give it to them, they can sell it for other people with small profit margin, and then the profit margin would be 50% back to them so they can afford their living, and the rest would stay in Grameen Bank. Now, statistically, Grameen Bank and the Grameen Group own 75% of the Bengali economy. There is always a debate about how Muhammad Yunus been good to the Bengali economy, been bad, but this is always politics. But he got his Nobel Prize based on this transformation, empowering poor women to transform financial services and get rich. And now they own Grameen Group. Okay, so these 4 trends that I've spoken to you about would affect the way we have different types of systems in financial institutions. Now, there are different types of information systems or information technology systems in financial institutions. Some of them would be transaction-based, so whatever system like Salesforce, anything, PayPal, this is a transaction processing system. Any system that tackles or address daily payments, this is called transaction processing system. Management information systems, this is more sort of strategic level where top bankers need to communicate with different branches. If it is a multinational bank, so they need to communicate with different branches, with different terminologies, with different currencies, with different languages, with different synchronized systems. And in doing so, they can get conglomerated or overall paired view of things, of financial performance, of human resources performance, of logistics, everything. Decision support systems, this is mainly for middle-level managers, intelligence systems. So I want you to go through this list of systems, read about them, and use the extra readings from this information system book that we provided. And if you still have any question, come back to us. Now, I want you to stop my video and watch this video encrypted here, and it talks about the 10th anniversary of Mbfi. It tells you how Mbfi now is a platform for banks. So banks in Kenya cannot really live without Mbfi. Okay, so stop this video, have a look, and come back to me. Thanks, Guy, for stopping by and watching this video and coming back to me. Now, I will take you through a similar system I personally developed in Egypt. It's called VodaCash or eMasari. So eMasari means electronic money. VodaCash means Vodafone Cash. So I had to start with a sort of business modeling. So I want you to think of Mbfi, something equal to what I have been done. And I would say Mbfi started mainly from an Egyptian undergraduate student who said, if we can share airtime, if the airtime has financial value, why we cannot share financial value? Why we cannot transfer and share money? And then his idea in 2006 been really inbuilt in Vodafone Sustainability Group in Kenya. And we all know that Safaricom is another name of Vodafone Group in Kenya. So come back to my personal experience. I had to do a sort of business modeling. If you see this chart on the screen, it tells you how much is the commission for network operators, for Vodafone, for Mobinil, all these operators who work in Egypt, and then retail agents, microfinance institutions, how the commission would go for each side. And then I had to do a sort of file data management. So this is file management system that tells you what sort of information and how this could be classified and collected in our database. So this is called socio-technical analysis. And then I had to do a sort of information modeling and information analysis where I had to develop different data flow charts, how the money could be uploaded, how the money can get downloaded, what sort of procedures should be done. And then I had to continue this information analysis to say which tables could be built to do reporting, and how these tables, how customer ID could be a key for different data, for credit history, for payment, for trading, purchasing history. So you can use this for insurance companies, for database marketing. You can sell this information with approval from the client to other institutions. And then later on, we had to think about the technical specification. So Kenyan people are different from British people, from Egyptian people. Now, how we can secure high quality, affordable mobile phones that would have a scanner, that would, could get connected to the printer of the retail agent, so you can get a receipt or a confirmation for the transaction. So it needs to have, these technical specifications. Have a look at this picture and think with me what should be the next step. So the next step, again, is still technical specification. Now, how different databases at different levels could get connected. So starting from customers on the other side, on the extreme side, where you have the customer going to the point of sale, a retail agent, could be a kiosk or a shop. They have the cash, they want to create a new account, upload the cash, or they want to download cash that's been transferred to them by a friend or a family relative. This retail agent would be trained. He has a computer, he has access to internet, copy, internet backup. His mobile application would be different than the application in the customer's mobile handset. And then all of this, different points of sales, different retail agents would collect their data into a sort of wallet, big wallet, electronic payment network, and all of this would be transformed again to Vodafone or to the operators, which is back-end operation and account and service management, where you have a customer service, you can call them to sort out your problems. Okay, so I think I've been taking you through this journey from A to Z. Now, next part, we'll be talking about Mbfi and real mobile banking, different approaches of mobile banking, strategies of mobile banking, stakeholders of mobile banking, and then the key associated threats of mobile banking. Thank you for stopping by, and see you in the next section. The next section is going to be lecture 1, but part 2. Thank you.